Bow, 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 bow. Back again for another episode of Virtual Courtside. I'm Harris. That's Dirk. That was the worst intro of
Hello.
all time. Happy Monday? Monday. We're only doing one episode this week because the weeks are really clumped together, so we felt like doing a recap episode on Saturday or Sunday, and then doing a preview episode on Tuesday was silly, so we're just kind of combining it into one, what I like to call, welcome to the Slam Open Week of Doom. Doom, 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 doom. Welcome to the Week of Doom. And by Week of Doom, I mean that it's basically the Week of Doom for every single team in the league besides one. Obviously, we will crown a Slam Open champion this week. Preemptive congratulations to them. But outside of the champion, 24 teams will be in Doom. I guess the second place team, they're making a good amount of money, so they'll be feeling okay. But we're going to go through each matchup to open up the week. We'll talk about what each team did last week. We'll pick our Final Four, our champion, and then we'll toss a little Slam Open MVP pick out there for the people. Sound good?
Boom.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's start at the top. Nets GC will be taking on Grizz Gaming. The Nets swept the Dream Shakers. Grizz Gaming did the same to Jazz Gaming as Utah's just absolute plunder continues. But Nets GC taking on Grizz Gaming. Greens versus Vandy. I like this matchup a lot because I see there's a lot of Vandy in Greens' game. Greens is kind of like the final evolved Pokemon version of Vandy. But at the same time, Vandy has been absolutely on fire this year, Dirk. This is going to be a really fun matchup. Both teams are playing really well. Don and Icy have been getting better and better by the game. And now we get to see them against, in my opinion at least, the second best player in the league so far behind Shifty Kai.
Yeah, I think that the Nets will be able to handily take this one. Like while the Grizz have been, okay, I think that the Nets are just kind of another level.
Really?
I think in terms of overall experience, and I think it's going to show too in the series. I think that the Nets, personally, I think they're going to breeze by. I don't think this is going to be a close one.
Oh,
yeah. I do think that that's going to be the case. Like when I'm watching the Grizz, like despite how good Vandy's been, I still look at their game and I'm like, they just don't look complete. The Nets look complete. So I got the Nets taking this one. I think it'll be easy for Greens and the boys.
Just know the magician hears all, and he hears you doubting him, and he will strike fear in the hearts.
Let me message him right now and ask if he just heard what I said. No.
Like, hey. On to our next one. Pistons GT taking on Mavs Gaming. The Pistons had a wacky series with Kingsguard Gaming, pushed them to 5. And then Mavs Gaming had a non-wacky series with Warriors Gaming Squad. They swept the Dubs for their first win of the year. Pistons coming off a 5-game series to the Kings. Mavs coming off a sweep of the Warriors. This is a weird matchup. Do you believe in the Mavs' new lineup, or was that just the Warriors like forgetting how to play 3v3 for a series?
I think it was more in the Warriors forgetting how to play 3v3 for a series. So it's interesting. Well, one, now the NBA 2K League social team can use the video of Ant talking about the matchup with Dave Fry because they're actually going to be playing.
Yes, there you go.
They already have content in the bank already. I think for the Pistons, while it was alarming, they just kind of showed that's like, okay, like you had that slow game 1, game 2, maybe you would expect them to bounce back then and going down 2-0. You never like to see that from a projected champion in the mode, but they did bounce back and they did win, and it was getting real comfortable like going down the stretch for them. So I do like that from the Pistons, despite playing the worst 3v3 team that we have. For the Mavs, I like that when Kappa's out there because he could actually close out the game, but you even still got a little bit of a glimpse that when Fans was in a lineup in that game 3 specifically, right? 19 points. I think it was like 19-14. And like, all you need is a 2 and you win the game. Couldn't get it. All you need is a 2 again. Win the game. Couldn't get it. To where all of a sudden was just like Dave Fry taking, I'd call it like, it's a confidence shot, but a nut shot that he just like took. That flare up on the load up was like,
it was a confidence shot because they listened to my advice and they did a way better job of getting Dave Fry the goddamn ball in these games. It was so frustrating watching their first 4 series, and it would just be Fanta trying to like solo people. And I think that was their game plan. I think they were telling him like, hey, just go break down the one-on-one matchup. But it's not that he can't, but like there are only like 4 or 5 guards who really can do that anyway. They spent the whole series against the Warriors just going to Dave Fry in the corner, going to Dave Fry on flare-ups. Like he was all over the place. He touched the ball a ton. So by the time he did take that drop you nuts shot, he was already comfortable. He was warmed up, ready to go, and he hit the shot.
It was a crazy shot. Because even like in the moment, it looked like there was going to be nothing there with it, and I don't think that he was probably anticipating the load up for it. But
this year though, they've been hitting those shots.
But you need that type of shot, right? Like if there's anybody if there's anybody who I know that gets more frustrated when a guard can't close out, it's Day Fry.
Mm.
From playing with him, from watching him play, he's just one of those guys like, give me the fucking ball, like I'll do it. And so, I mean, if that's what it's going to have to be for the Mavs to do it, puts a little bit more pressure on Day Fry. But the good part about it is you have a guy who's going to live up to the pressure
Mhm.
of doing so. Um, I this series between them, I we do have to factor in, right? That's what I like about this. We can talk about this, the server things of going. I'm
Yeah.
not sure which way the servers ended up playing out. I know some people were jumping into Twitch chat saying like I think it was Central, but I don't really know exactly
I don't
where the
either.
listing of
I'm
it was.
pretty sure that this Pistons Mavs series will be on Central. I think they'll
Yeah.
probably do that.
I think though that the Pistons should come out, despite the Pistons even looking a little wonky with their play. I think they should be able to take out the Mavs.
Is Connor the best non-guard player in this game mode? I think the answer for me is yes. I just don't see
Yeah.
anybody else. Maybe Godlike. I think you could probably. I mean, it's the same thing as it was last year, where last year him and Loki Godlike were in a battle to the death of who was
Yeah.
the best big man in threes. Now
Um,
it's changed
I,
because he's on lock.
I would say probably Connor. I did have, again, I still had DJ really high up there because I thought
He
DJ
hasn't
was playing
played the
fucking
past couple series.
phenomenal.
Yeah, they
But
took him off the
yeah,
floor.
like Gradient's been in there now. So yeah, I think in terms of what we're seeing from the lockdown position, in terms of their consistency and just overall play, yeah, I think Connor probably has to be up there.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. But by the way, I mentioned Day Fry touching the ball a lot. Game one, only 3 points, one shot, 6 assists. Game two, Day Fry, 5 points, 4 assists. Then game three, 10 points, 4-4 from the field, 2-2 from three. Just give him the ball. Just like I also
It,
like that Day Fry and Cap have like real chemistry. Like they've been playing together for a long time, so that they know kind of what the other is thinking. But just give him the ball. That's why you got him. Give him the ball.
it's like they're finally starting to adopt, at least from that series, the Wizards District Gaming way of
Yeah.
playing threes. And that's exactly what they did in Indy. Everybody was like getting constant touches of the ball. People started to take that into their own and started to really hone it. The Pistons then kind of elevated that, what we saw from the Wiz in that first season. So it's unique. I like it. Like, trust me, as much as I like watching guards cook up, I equally like watching lockdowns and power forwards get the ball in their hands and be able to create opportunities.
I like watching Day Fry cook up from the lockdown position or Dawson's cook up because he was pulling off some of the craziest shit I've
Yes.
ever seen. I can't believe the Bucks lost. I'm so mad just because that means we're denied more Dawson's just ridiculous shot making. Let's get on to two teams that will have a very fun matchup. The old Eastern Conference rivals, Heat Check Gaming, who were pushed to 5 games by a scrappy Islands gaming team. And then 76ers GC, they took down Dukes and Benito's 3-1. So Jeff Terrell was not happy with our podcast segment on the Sixers. Me talking about how still very confused what happened to Dre. I even mentioned the Monstars thing, and he posted a Monstars gif after the game. I am not backing off of this because Dre, even in that series, shot the ball terribly. He's a great playmaker, and they're surviving because of that playmaking skills. But I'm not moving off of this point yet, Dirk. I don't know what happened to Dre's scoring ability, but at some point it's going to catch up to them, and it's going to catch up to them at the worst time. They're now going up against a Heat Check Gaming team where I think the focus is more going to be on the fact that these are really the only two teams that do the inside. They've done the inside build actually quite well. It's working very well for DT and D-Trick, ironically, both DTs. But I think I give the advantage to the Heat in this one. I really like how Matty is playing this year. He has been perfect for them in this game mode. He's just so calm, cool, and collected at all times. He always makes the right play. That Isles gaming team was good. I'm actually happy with Heat Check Gaming for getting that win. They ended up being really good. So yeah, I need more from Dre, man. I need more. Where's Super Dre? Where's the man that I voted for MVP a couple of years ago? Where's Superman? Like I just don't understand. He's such a different player than he used to be. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just slow to adopting it, but yeah, it's just jarring to the eye.
It almost seems like with the way Dre's game has changed, it's like, you know how we talk about so many guards when they come into the league of damn, they're just a pure scorer. The one thing they have to change in the league is adapting to getting like the playmaking under their belt. I feel like to where he had to step up that part of his game, where all of a sudden it ended up bringing down his scoring and his playmaking improved that much more.
Yeah.
So like he can still move. That's the thing. He still moves like the Dre that we know at times. But yeah, I mean, in this threes mode, there's no reason that Dre shouldn't be a top candidate for like being top in scoring every single time that we see him play. And that's just because that's the Dre that we've always known over the years. But at the point guard position, sometimes you have to manage a game. Sometimes you got to be able to facilitate. And I also think too, I'm going to state this with the inside big, it's going to force the guard to pass
Yeah.
infinitely more.
Well, I was gonna
Like,
say he's using his dribbling to hit slips. Like
yeah.
he's using his dribbling to open up slips, which is great because it's creating points and they're winning games. It's just not very appealing to the eye. You know what I
What
mean?
I mean, like, so the only insides that are being ran are the Sixers and the Heat. I
Yeah.
mean, Kai, I would assume I haven't looked at the stats in a
His
minute.
scoring is down,
Kai,
his assists are up for sure.
yeah. So like, it's a common thing that happens. I mean, that's why I'm kind of shocked that either of these teams are even running insides. I thought it would just be more of a beneficial to give them space, let them cook up or whatever it may be. I do like the Heat in this one though.
Yeah.
I think to your point, it's kind of like the complete package right now. Kai is playing the exact same as he did last year, which was phenomenal. And we're just like, okay, where's the supporting cast? Where's the lockdown? Where's the power forward that's going to help them kick it up to the next level? Maddie, I've loved Maddie at a lockdown ever since the first time I ever saw him even play a lockdown position. He makes game changing plays. He hits big shots, has the confidence in the big moments to take those game winning opportunities. And honestly, like defensively, when it comes down to rebounds, offensively, Dietrich has been playing this inside. Like, I mean, I know we don't have a giant scope to look at of people who are using inside, but it's just him and DT. But the way that Dietrich has been playing, he seems right at home with it. So I think it'll be a little bit too much unless we get a series where Kai and Dre are just going to go back and forth trading buckets.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how Kai does in this series. This is a really, really big series, I think, for him and this Heat team. Like getting past the Sixers for anybody is hard to do. I mean, it's a Jeff Terrell coach team, so I think that'll be a good signal post for the rest of their season. Kai's up to almost 4 assists per game, by the way. I think is he number one in the league? Yeah, number one in the league. Dre's number 2 at 3.74, but the scoring differences are crazy. Kai's averaging 9 points a game. Dre's he's under 6. He's at 5.7 points per game. Like, I what? It's so strange to look at.
Well, I think even too, like when we look at the matchup where the Heat had that grueling game 5 with Iowa's gaming team, like you could argue that Draco he's moving better than Dre when he was out there on the court.
Kai was also like 0 for 6 from 3 in that game. That was crazy to watch. Him and Draco were smoking every shot.
Yeah, so like it's
Infuriating.
honestly it's kind of like if anything, the game planning and the assignment gets probably a little easier with Philly in terms of that, the offense is just going to be very cookie
Yeah.
cutter, kind of how like yours is. So I think that that will help them. But it was kind of alarming in the Iowa's gaming team series, like just going back and looking at the amount of shots that like a Dario like could take wide open, miss, and so just have to try to correct that. Obviously, still some holes,
Yeah.
but I like them in this matchup.
All right, let's move on. We got maybe the most interesting matchup of the first round. T Wolves Gaming coming off of an easy sweep over Triple Threat, and then Magic Gaming, who won an amazing series over MBLOS Gaming in 5. Now we get T Wolves versus Magic. I mentioned this in my recap article. I think my power ranking should be going up soon. In stocks, there's something known as buying the dip. When a stock
Mhm.
goes down, you buy the dip, hoping it goes back up. That's what I'm doing with Magic Gaming, Derek. I am absolutely buying the dip. Every single time this team dips in threes, I'm buying. Like when they were down to NBLOS Gaming 2-1, I bought the dip. I thought they were going to win those last 2 games because they are just when the chips are really down, Derek, and you are posting up and you're looking at the other team's lineup versus your lineup. They just have a better lineup than anybody else. And math says that over the course of a full season, they should win most of their games. And so far, they've turned a bit of a corner. Unguardable's starting to hit more shots. Loki and him are starting to get a little more comfortable. Jay Bullen's been the best player on that team to start the season, though. He is stupid good. That guy's nuts. I will be interested to see what lineup T-Wolves Gaming come out with, though. Because is it going to be Bear at the 4? Is it going to be Iggy Mo at the 4? How are they going to match up with Loki Godlike? Do you put the vet on him? Do you put the rookie on him? Do you have Subgoated in there to help with you on the guardable? Do you move Bear back to the lockdown? Like, there's a lot of questions for this T-Wolves Gaming team. I think I favor Orlando just because of the lineup certainty and how like good they've looked. But I'm very, very excited for a Two-Talk versus Jay Bullen matchup to the death in the week of doom. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
I'll go the opposite. I'll go T-Wolves Gaming in this. I
Ooh,
think they
okay.
will go. I think they'll go back to the old lineup. I mean, I think that's just the better lineup anyway. The Tutok, Bear, and Iggy Mo.
Mhm.
I think just from a 3v3 presence, I think having Igmo out there I know matchups are always kind of just being flip flopped around with every single position, but at least to have his insights on like what to guard with Loki Godlike, specifically when you're looking at the slip pop. Here's the thing though, if you go back and look at the tape of a lot of Magic Gaming games, there's not a lot of Loki Godlike pick and pop action. It's more
No.
Jay Bullen. Like
Yeah.
Loki Godlike is in the corner a lot compared to where Dukes Infinitos, Loki Godlike was involved every single play, what it felt like. Um, I don't like how the Magic, like, they should be a team that's dominating, right? And being able to put stamps on series.
They did dominate the last half of that NBL series. They
Yeah,
put them down.
but I think that's what I like more of the T-Wolves. And dude, the T-Wolves confidence right now is just on another level. Like they're everyone's feeling good. They got Tutak, all the hype that's coming out with him. Obviously, Bear, Emo. I think that confidence is honestly going to help them and will them to a win here in this
Okay.
series. I don't think it. This is probably one of the ones like you just mentioned. This is definitely the marquee matchup.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is must see
Oh
TV
yeah.
to look at this one. This has game 5 potential written all over it. But I think that the matchup of like the young gun of Tutak versus Unguardable, two different contrasting play styles in terms of even the archetypes that they're going to be on.
Mhm.
I'll have the T Wolves squeaking it out.
Okay. I think it's going 5 as well. It's going to be a great series. Again, Jay Bullen versus Tutak. Not often you get the number 2 pick versus the number 3 pick in a direct matchup, to be defending each other every play. So that'll be fun. Up next, Lakers Gaming versus Celtics crossover. Lakers Gaming got pushed to 5 against Team Glitchy in a series where the Lakers didn't really take it seriously until all of a sudden they had to. It was a very interesting series to watch. And then Celtics crossover gaming with the quietest and simplest 3-1 series win over Raptors Uprising GC that I think we saw this week. Yeah, the Lakers forgot to try, and then all of a sudden Glitchy just started pressing them really hard, and Greenlight started to hit shots, and all of a sudden it was game 5. It was really funny watching their cameras. They were like, "Oh shit, we actually have to win this game." And then yeah, the Celtics they look great, man. They look really good. They're one of my sleeper teams for the year. I love the way the Leche's playing. I love the way that Tezo's playing. Crizzy looks good. So another really, really fun matchup. I still have the Lakers winning, but the Celtics for me are one of those teams that if they make it to the Final Four out of the lower bracket, I would not be surprised at all. I think they got that kind of talent, but this Lakers team just has to wake up. Like you can't just sleepwalk into these series. That was so wild.
I think that they'll take it more serious playing a 2K League team. Assuming that this is a matchup across the United States that is going to be played on Central Server, I
I
doubt
hope
that
so.
they'll allow that the Lakers being the higher seeds to be like, yeah, every game's gonna be played on West Coast
Yeah.
and make the Celtics suffer. Um, I'll take the Lakers, but at the same time, I think if you take a little bit more of a backseat like you did against Glitchy against this team, the Celtics are going to win.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like Leche's been on another, he's been so
Dude, they
consistent shooting the ball.
smacked the Raptors. They absolutely just 5 fingers to the face. I'm surprised it wasn't a sweep. The only reason it wasn't a sweep is because in game 2, I'm pretty sure Symptoms had 19 points, some crazy game. 9 points. Sorry, I was wrong. That was the seam game where you couldn't miss. And I thought the Celtics played great. I thought they were probably one of the more impressive teams from last week.
Yeah, I'll still take the Lakers. I'm a very big believer in Kai, Crazy, and VC, and kind of what they've been putting together as well. And
Mhm.
of course, Kai's no stranger to being in these type of situations of just dominating in 3v3 specifically.
Yeah.
So I'll take the Lakers. Could see this one being another potential game 5. I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think it's either going to be the Lakers are just going to come out and probably sweep or game 4. That
Yeah.
trend that we've been seeing, right? Team goes up 2-0, the other team will take game 3 and then they'll win game 4. Or it's going to be an absolute every single score 21-19 going all the way to that game
I
5.
would love a good Celtics Lakers slugfest. Come
We
on,
don't
man. Let's
have
get a fucking
it's such a historic rivalry in the NBA,
They
but
have
it
no
doesn't mean
games.
shit. It means no shit in the 2K league.
Did
It
they?
means nothing.
They didn't match up in the threes playoffs in Indy, did they? I don't think so. I don't think
Threes
so.
playoffs in Indy. Haven't I think I've sent you a picture of a bracket, no? Somewhere?
It's a long time ago. Man, I barely
I
remember what I ate for breakfast.
I
yesterday.
doubt it because I feel like I mean,
I've
I
never
don't
seen
think
them.
they've
I don't remember them.
I don't
playing
think
in a
they've played
back-to-back.
ever in a big matchup. I don't think they've ever squared
They
off in
might have
a
played in one of these tournament rounds.
Do you say NBA? Did you say in Indy?
in Indy? Yeah.
So what, season 5?
Check the playoffs. Or were our playoffs still conference based back then? I think they were conference based.
Let's see. Let's see.
Because the
Let's
Bucks,
see.
the Bucks and the Lakers played round one in the Reg Bowl. Remember the Reg Bowl? They played the Reg
Yes.
Bowl twice. I think they split it 1-1. No,
Oh, let's see.
2-0. The
So
Bucks beat them both times.
3v3. It was conference based.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So it had So no, we didn't have a.
Who the
I,
Lakers
I
lose
honestly,
to?
I swear, I don't think that we've had a Lakers Celtics matchup for like with any significance
Well, this is
before.
great. I'm very excited. I also think just again, like you have two really good teams, like just two very talented teams playing good ball. So this will be a fun series. On to the next. Blazer 5 Gaming coming off a 3-1 win over the number 1 seed Dribble Gods. They're going up against Knicks Gaming, who remembered how to shoot the basketball. They took down Cavs Legion, who still don't know how to shoot the basketball. So we got Knicks versus Blazers. It's the Joe Vegas New York Bowl. Dude, this Blazer team is the number 7 seed. They're 4-2. They're just scrapping together wins, man. They're just putting it together. They're getting it done. Chaos is playing lock. It's working. But honestly, you know, we gotta say, just Claude, man. Claude is out here feeding families. Claude is putting in the work. I feel like he's kind of the forgotten guard. I feel like we just kind of left him in Blazer 5 wasteland thinking that he wasn't gonna like do anything. Oh yeah. Sophomore year Claude is a badass, man. He's hitting some big time shots. It's fun to watch.
Do you want to talk about your Dribble Gods pick from last week?
Okay, you know, they were so close to making that a game 5, and then it didn't happen. They were really close. That game 4 was super close. Hold on, I have to pull it up now because I have to defend my honor. Yeah, it was 23-20. I gotta see the play-by-play because
I think Kenny Zeus went crazy in that last game, right? Struggled like every single game, but that last one turned it on. Or it might have been game 3 and game 4 turned it on.
Kenny Zeus in game 4 at 13 points. They just made like a couple of really bad errors. Yeah, it was 22-17, 21-11, 23-18, and then 23-20. Damn.
I mean, like to give credit, right, for a team that had a disaster draft, and I'm sure like in 5s it's not going to be as pretty unless Claude keeps up this type of play in the 5v5 mode. But like it is working in 3s. To be honest with you, I don't know how it's working, but it is. I think it's just kind of speaks volumes to, one, how good Claude's playing, but 2, like how genuinely good Chaos is.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not somebody who has talked about being one of the best at his
May's
positions,
been solid
right?
too, man. I gotta give credit where credit's due. I toss a lot of hate at May. He's been playing good ball.
Like the way that things are flowing, like I don't know, is this like a situation where they as a collective all got drafted this team are like, man, what the fuck are we doing here? So it's like it kind of brought them closer together, like because the chemistry is there.
I think, to be honest, man, I don't want to. I think giving too much credit to coaching when it comes to 3v3 is silly. But like, shout out to Joe Vegas, man, for getting these guys ready to play. Like they just seem well prepped, ready to go, and they execute game plans. Like it's honestly not that complicated. Like I think the one biggest thing that I've noticed this year, Dirk, is how poorly prepared a lot of these teams come into games. Like I feel like I'm prepared more for our broadcast than a lot of these teams are for their games. They'll just go into these matchups just not ready for the team that they're about to go up against. So I shout out to B5 getting it done.
Yeah.
But their fun story might be coming to an end because Knicks Gaming looks really good. And in the middle of their disaster offensive stretch, Whatstick is putting on just another absolute clinic of how to play lockdown in the NBA 2K League. He's leading the league in steals, over 1 a game, shooting the ball great. If Malik can figure out his 3-point shot, I mean, I predicted the Knicks were going to be a top 5 team in 3v3 to start the year. If they'll get there. They're going to get back to that spot. They're too good not to.
Yeah, I'll take the Knicks in this one. If they can shoot.
Yes.
If we get like a disaster class from Malik in their shooting department, chalk it up. Like Claude's been as consistent as they come. He hasn't really had any crazy lapses in his offensive game, but I do think that experience with the Knicks, and again, you just brought up with Sticks play. Beast has kind of been like the quiet guy in 3v3 as always. One of those people who just didn't want to play 3s, and now is in the lineup in 3s, which is honestly, it kind of shocked me when it happened. I thought they were just going to run the same thing as last year, get more repetitions with it. But it's always good seeing Feast out there because he is such an impact player when he's actively engaged and focused.
I think it's crazy to think that Feast has been in the league every single year. He has not missed a year. He is one of the what we say there's 14 players who have played every single season in the league.
Yep.
Unbelievable that he's on it. Not to say that he's bad and he shouldn't. It's just like you go down the names of like the guys, and it's some of the most decorated people we have, and then Feast has just always been here, like playing great ball, being a good teammate, like getting it done.
It just goes to show, like, you don't have to be the most popular person. You just like be quiet, you just hoop,
It's gotta
do
be
your
normal.
thing.
That's the
Like
best part about Feast. Feast is like a normal person, and it's nice. It's nice to like be around somebody who's like you can just like have a normal person conversation with. It's nice. He's a good dude.
The man just puts his head down, hoops in the offseason, goes to work at his restaurant, hoops, and then that's it.
That's it.
Simple life of Feast.
Yeah. Who you picking? B5 or Knicks?
Knicks.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna pick B5 to win, and the week I pick B5 to win is the week that they lose. But if I keep picking against B5, they'll keep winning. So I'm reverse psychologying it, and I'm gonna take the Knicks. And now the Knicks are going to lose. All right, on to the next. Pacers Gaming, an easy 3-0 sweep over the GCL underdogs. They're going up against the Genji Tigers, who took down WizDG 3-1.
This is the hardest series to call.
Really?
I put this one. I think it's going to be so tough. This one might be up there with like a T-Wolves Magic. I genuinely don't know.
Okay. So you're really in on Genji then?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Like,
I'm really in on this Pacers team. I think this Pacers team is sick.
I think it is too. Like their Cooks is playing fucking out of his mind. I mean, I've always been, I don't know why I always am a believer in Gen G. I think it's just because they always have the names of like to make runs and even like the play styles to make runs. Gallo is finally doing his fucking thing. Like we have just been waiting for so long in terms of his 3v3, like offensive consistency, the way he's mixing things up. I mean, Lawrich went last week without missing a single shot in the 4 games that they played from behind the arc, which is just something even more insane. Their pick and pop is deadly, and I'd have to go back and look at the Pacers game and see how they do it, because I think this is the series against the Wiz, right, where the Wiz were just giving up Lawrich wide open on a pop every single time, I think.
Respectfully to the Wiz, and excited to see them play again. Some of those defensive rotations this week were tough to watch. It was tough to watch.
So I don't know. It's just like I think I will take the Pacers because of how hot they are, but like I don't think this series should be slept on by any means. I think that the Gen G Tigers are going to put up a massive fight, because even when you're going down like the list of the players, right, just matching up from a positional standpoint. I mean, you look at Lawrich, what he's been doing up against Jay Snags, Jolo with how good that he's been going up against Chess. I'll take the Pacers, but don't sleep on it. I think it's going to be a very, very tough series to call.
By the way, live reporting, Mona has just arrived in Detroit.
Woo!
There's a video of him dapping up the Pistons GT guys. Him and Connor just embraced. They are about the same height. Pretty freaky, actually. So yeah, congrats to Mona. Welcome to the USA. Welcome to the league.
Finally, man. I've been like, I remember doing my interview with him, and the first thing I asked him, right, I go, so like, when do you get over to the US? He goes, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, have you talked to anybody? He goes, no.
Well,
I said, my guy, you hit up Animal ASAP and you start to get this process figured out. And each show he's been coming into the Twitch chat and giving us updates. Like, I go to Canada this week to have my interview. Then I go here and I do this. So good to see him in market. We officially have the scariest duo on the stage in 2K League history and making their debut in a couple months. But like, Connor's way taller than Mona. He's got like a whole like 2 or 3 inches on him.
I definitely misjudged it on the first watch. Be quiet.
I'm taking Mona in Oklahoma drill though.
Yeah, me too. He's got the low center of gravity. I like the way that Beast Move said hi to him. Just like, hold it. It's just like give him a hug. Shout out to Mona, man. Welcome to the NBA 2K League. I'm actually going to take Pacers Gaming, and I'm going to zag to your zig here. I'm actually going to say that Pacers Gaming take this one comfortably. I think Gen G is really good. I think the Pacers are Gen G, but just slightly better. Like, I think Cooks has been slightly better than Gallo this year. I think that Jay Snags has been slightly better than Lawrich this year. And I think that Chess has been slightly better than Jolo this year. And I think that slightly betterness will be maybe like a 3-1 series win for the Pacers. I think Gen G will be in it the whole way, but I just really like how this Pacers team is looking.
Well, when you say Pacers comfortably, are you saying like like in terms of game scores? Are you just thinking like
I
21-15,
just think that the
21 like
series I think the Pacers will control the series, and I don't think there's going to be a point in the series where we're like, oh my god, the Genji's going to run over them. Like I think the
yeah.
Pacers will be in control of this series and get it done. I will say, I'm just going to put this out there. This series could have some very interesting MVP implications down the road, because if one of these two teams gets past this series and makes it to like the final four of this tournament, the point guard's going to be put in that MVP race, whether it's Gallo or Cooks. So just keep a little mental note for that. Next series, Rim Runners taking on Hawks Talon GC. The Rim Runners beat Hornets Venom GT.
This is such a weird upper bracket matchup. Like, even just look at the seed numbers next to their names, but just look at the two names. You're like,
27
what?
versus 22, and then the
We
Hawks.
could have had Hornets versus Bucks, but we get Hawks versus Rim Runners.
Technically, we did have Hornets versus Bucks, and the series was as good as we were hoping for. But the Bucks got swept 3-0 against the Hawks. Just want to say it. I absolutely, not that I said that the Hawks were going to win, because I definitely did not say that, but I absolutely called out what the Hawks' path to victory was, and they followed it to a T. They are a really, really good defensive team in 3v3. Like, almost to the point where it's like weird to say how good they are defensively. They even swapped their lineup. They put Glow in there for best bait, which was a great move. It was a great move. Not just to get Glow out there, but like, I just don't, personally, I'm just trying to be nice. I don't think Bait was ready for prime time. I don't think he was ready for the start of the season. They're trying to win immediately. He just wasn't ready yet. He wasn't ready yet, and it's okay. It's fine. Some guys just aren't. Glow on that inside is a way better fit for MDS. It allows him to cook. It allows him to get a secondary option at all times. And the rebounding, Dirk. Oh, the rebounding is elite. Glow is going crazy. I love the way that underrated GOAT is playing. I like this Hawks team a lot. I smell a dark horse run for Hawks Talon.
I forgot. Yeah, we have to add the Hawks into the inside center conversation now.
Yeah.
One thing I liked most about the Hawks offensive game, MDS as a shooting guard has always been so good at working off ball.
Mm-hmm.
Their off ball movement with him with this inside, like when one of those screens hits and how well he can read the screen of which way he needs to go and how many shots it was setting up for him was perfect. So I really like the Hawks. I'm probably going to take them in this one. I think we'll see the last of the community team up here in the upper bracket. I think Rim Runners will end up dropping down, but I think this will be comfortable for the Hawks personally.
This was that series against the Bucks was one of the first series he's had since he was drafted, where I was like, whoa, that's the number one pick right there. Oh wow, that's stunning. Like he really kind of took over that series. So that's our winners bracket. We very interested to see who makes it through. Let's talk about the teams that are still alive in the lower bracket. Jazz Gaming, they took down Dream Shakers. I don't have a lot of faith in this team, buddy. I don't know if it's Justin. I don't know if it's Miami. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about this team that just doesn't like hit right. You know what I mean? Like you're watching it and it just like doesn't totally work.
I'm telling you, this is like the CP effect 2.0. CP last year made all of his hype the first 2 weeks of the slam because he was scoring, but guess how he was scoring? He was dunking the ball every fucking time that he could get. Justin came out that exact same way. Inside out playmaker, changing the meta of what guys were using at the point guard position, and was heavy on the inside, then would start to bring it to the outside a little bit more. People have now adapted. Like, that's the thing when you change up the structure of the season to make where everything is just so short. You don't have a lot of time to game plan to figure it out. These guys are going to adapt to that and be able to figure out these game plans even quicker. And I think they finally found the recipe. I think that we're going to have to see what Justin is truly made of in terms of mixing up his in-game entirely. And I think a lot of that's going to be getting off this build. Like, while I like it, especially like on driving, like we can get the dunk meter quite a bit of the time. Finishing on the inside is going to be better. I think that you just got to adapt to what really the rest of the league is doing from the point guard position and get on one of those 3-point shot hunter builds.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's struggling to keep up with like the speed of the league and the defenses that are being thrown at him. Much more coordinated, trying to get him out of his game, trying to get into his weaknesses. He's not a bad player. Like he's a good player. I think he's a league ready player, but it's like they are requiring a lot of him. And that was one of my issues with the Miami pick, which is like, look, Miami is good, but like if you had an elite point guard, I'd feel so much better about having Miami back there. But you don't. You have a rookie. You have a rookie at the top. You got a rookie at the bottom. The only guy who's in there that's a veteran is Kaze. And look, I like Kaze a lot. He's a good player. He's never won anything in this league. Like, he's never even been there before in like the biggest of big moments. So it just seemed like they were really like throwing him out there, and it's been okay, but it's just not. I'm not saying the answer is to bench Justin. I honestly don't know what the answer is for this team. But they just need to figure it out. I'm actually kind of confuddled. I don't really know what the right move is here, because I would not bench Justin for Fiend. I think that's a terrible idea. You're gonna kill Justin's confidence immediately. You can't bench Kaze because you don't have another lock on the roster. I don't even know if Rhea coming in would fix this.
I mean, because like
maybe I don't know.
You like here's the way I look at it. If you want to draw a comparison to another 2K League team, T-Wolves drafting Iggy for threes.
Yeah.
Take Iggy out of the lineup and replace him. What was the point? Right? So I think bringing in like Rhea, like, you're not going to take Kaze out because Kaze's been great. You're not going to take Miami out because Miami's been pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
And like, you drafted him for threes. And as much as I love Rhea, and he'll probably say, I can play guard. No.
You drafted Justin to play threes. Like, that was the whole point.
So I think it's just, this is where you can really make some noise. And if you can sit there, look in the mirror, and be like, okay, I need to change up the way that I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
That's going to really help everybody else out. Just because, like, it's just showing from their recent results that they've had that there's even some of the games, like, despite them losing the series, they are playing it close. And that's always just telling me that you're just playing it basic and you're always going for twos. In our the final game that we had, was it the Bucks and Hawks game when we closed up the show, right?
Yeah.
On Friday. Same way, like, that game was so close. You don't know how to start it out. It was fucking 5 straight twos to kick off the game. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but
welcome to the league.
Like, what else you want? You don't have a backup plan if you're the Jazz, truly. I mean, your backup plan would be Fiend. Who knows what to expect from Fiend, if maybe that's a way that they go. But it definitely is worrisome, especially because they play the loser of Rim Runners and Hawks. Obviously, they just went to a game 5 with the Dream Shakers, and they'd be playing one of the better Rim Runners teams that we've seen. So, yeah, I don't know which way to swing it. I need them to show me something, that kind of like that aura effect that we had of the Jazz. Like,
you gotta show me something.
Those 2-0, like, oh damn, like, my Pretenders pick looked like fucking ass, and then they end up losing this way. I'm like, oh, my Pretenders pick looks fucking great.
Pretty good. All right, on to the next. Warriors gaming squad. They're stuck down here. They just demolished Kingsguard Gaming 3-0. That Kings team. I don't want to talk about them. The Warriors. All respect in the world to Nay. Kenny got work is a better lock than you, and there is nothing to be ashamed of about that. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that. It's Kenny got work. The minute they put him in, wow, did they look better? Wow, dude, wow, he is insane.
They like got him in his bag straight away too. Like, they were giving him ISO opportunities on the lockdown. I'm like, damn, I've seen obviously some lockdowns get the ball up top and start dribbling and moving around. But for a guy in Kenny who has not played a single 3v3 game net this year to come up with the confidence of like, okay, I'm going to cook up, I'm going to do this. Like, just picked up right where he left off from last year.
10 of 13 in 3 games, 2 of 2 from 3, 3 steals, 22 points in 3 games. Like
you know when I talked about the impact of TB, like, just watching the game, like, damn, he's fucking just getting pluck after pluck after pluck.
Yeah.
Kenny came and did exactly like that. It just threw me back to season 3 Raptors Uprising, where fucking Kenny and Timely Cook were just constantly going around, just plucking the ball, knocking it away. So now with the Warriors with this lineup, I look at them like when it was in the upper bracket in the game they're playing, I'm like, man, it's the same old shit. Like, get Kenny in here. Like, they absolutely need it. Now with this team having it compared to a lot of the teams that we have left, I think that they're primed for a run.
Yeah,
I think that they are due for a crazy run. But here's the issue, Harris. They're either going to play Genji or the Pacers.
Bro, we're going to have the Len Bowl. We're going to have Warriors Genji. Yes, let's go. Which team will fail to win a 3v3 game when they have 19 points?
Or we could have the Pacers versus them, Harris. Don't come on. Oh, you never know.
But that's not nearly as fun.
That's true. That's true.
Not nearly as fun. Yeah, I like where the Warriors are trending, but it might be a switch thing. It might be better for them in the switch since they're already at the lower bracket. Isles Gaming Team, they took down Dukes and Vanitos. The only real headline with this team, will we see JBM? JBM was the whole point of this team. No, not the whole point of this team. That's rude to say. He was the headliner for this team We have not seen him play a series, but they've played good ball, man. Like they're tough. They're tough out. 2 5-game series against 2K League teams. They were on the better end of the one against Dukes. Draco looks really good. Dario looks as good as he did last year, I think. And I feel so rude. Who is their power forward?
Trying to think without looking at my notes. Draco, Dario.
It's Crucify. That's right. It's Crucify. I don't think of Crucify because I only know him as a guard. So seeing him out there in power forward is a bit freaky. But hey, they beat Dukes. That was a big win. It's so funny. Every single time I think this Dukes team is like, oh, they figured it out. They're up 2-1 in the series. They just immediately lose. But yeah, anything good to say about Isles Gaming Team, or should we move on?
I'm excited to see them play. I think that no matter who comes down here, I think it's definitely a winnable matchup for them.
Yep.
My issue is just going to be with them just closing out, putting a stamp on some series, playing too many game fives, playing too many close series. I don't think JBM will play at all during the slam.
Really?
I think, yeah, I mean, what's the point at this point, right? Like you're primed for a lower bracket run. You've been running with Draco this entire time. I don't think it'd be smart to put JBM in.
JBM. Screw it.
Well, we'll see you in the Switch.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that they'll come out with the same thing. I think whoever comes down here. I mean, if it's the Knicks are like, oh man, these fucking community teams.
Dude, no. But Knicks Islanders is a really hilarious crossover that I need. I need Knicks versus Islanders. Little New York action. Yeah, it's Long Island versus Manhattan.
Oh, and it was the Islanders and the Rangers. Are they rivals?
Yeah, big rivals.
Yeah,
it's more of the Rangers and the Devils, but don't let the Islander fans hear that. They're already mad at me for saying that. All right, on to the next. NBL Isles Gaming took down Triple Threat 3-0. This team's just a bit underwhelming. I think is really my take. I don't think Bag has been as good as he usually is. C's has been pretty good. Plu's been all right. All of them have just been all right. Like I was expecting more fireworks, and I don't think I've gotten a lot of fireworks yet. They seem set up to be really, really good, and it just seems like they're all just fine. You know, like they're fine.
Yeah.
But they need to be better than fine because the league is insanely competitive. They're just fine. They're just fine right now, but I expected more. I'm hoping to see more eventually.
Like the one thing that's remained true is that I feel like there's every single game we watch NBL play when they close out. Plu was hitting a game winning shot out of the corner, which I'm like, cool. When are we going to stop leaving Plu open? And it's the one thing that they're going to be able to do. I think to kind of piggyback off your point with bag motion, we loved his game on the Pistons because he was making game changing defensive plays. I feel like he's had that confidence this year to create his own offensive shots, but it just hasn't been as consistent maybe as when we saw it with Detroit. And maybe that's just a different system that they're in.
From 3. That's like it's a pretty big dip for him from last year.
Yeah.
When he was in the mid 50s.
And so maybe it's like a system flow with like playing with Ant and Connor compared to like going with Cease and Plu and the way that you kind of have to change some things around. But yeah, no, they need to get back to more the heavy defensive presence. I feel like that's the main issue that we have with this team, right? When they got Plu, if there's one thing that we know about Plu, we're looking at the defensive game. We're like, this honestly is not very good. It stinks what we're seeing from him defensively. Now offensively, like holy shit, like when he's getting open, he's got to knock down shots. He's doing that. He's doing exactly what he needs to. But
he's not. He's 40%.
Let me say this to close out games.
Yeah, to close out
which games. Is like. Which if you can rely on somebody to hit like consistent corner shots to close out games, good. But
do you know what they are? Can I just say it? They're just mid. They're just really mid right now, and it's shocking to see a team with C's, Plu, and Bag be mid. Like, dude, I don't know how much context this is going to make for other people, but like, not a single one of them is over 80% true shooting from like at all from the field this year. And you look at the other good teams like the Pacers, Cooks, Jay Snags, and Chess. All 3 of them are over 80%. The Nets, 2 of them are over 80%. The Pistons, 2 of them are over 80%. Like they just need they need one of them to be like performing above average, and they're all just average, and that's not good enough. This team is average because the players are playing average. Like Plu is better defensively than he was last year, but his offense is taking a step back. Bag is worse defensively, but his solo offense is better. C's just kind of looks like C's. Like, I don't know. I wanted more fireworks and pizzazz and pop, and I feel like I've just gotten fizzle, and I'm a bit sad.
Yeah, I feel like we've had those the stretches of gameplay we watch like, holy shit,
Yeah, they
this
look
NBL's
great.
gaming team is really fun to watch.
And then
And
all of a
then
sudden they
all of a sudden it's
lose.
like,
They lose the series 3-1. It's like where did that come from?
yeah.
All right,
So
on to
we,
the
we
next.
we put them on camera and they're like cooking. Then we come back to the series and they just lost like 2 games in a row. Like, what
They
happened?
probably should have beaten Magic Gaming, but that so far has been the theme of the season for NBL. They probably should have beaten blank, and they didn't. Like that, if that's the theme for the year, you're in trouble. On to the next. Raptors Uprising GC. They narrowly beat Team Glitchy in a game 5. I think this lineup has been sussed out a bit. As good as Symptoms is playing, honestly, Dirk, their biggest issue, they don't have a threes lock. They don't have a threes power forward. They have a bunch of fives guys who are trying their absolute damnedest to get it done. It's just it's just okay. Like Symptoms is outstanding. We have to just
He's best offensive player in threes.
Round of applause for Symptoms, man. He is outstanding. This is so fun to watch, but like everything else is just kind of meh. I think they're going to be really good in fives. I will say. I think this team is going to be a very, very good fives team. They just don't. Buddy, they're playing Seam at like threes lock. Like Seam is a good player. All right, Seam is a good guy. It's just at some point the positional versatility hits your maximum of how good you can play on every single position. And like Crush has just been okay this year. Hom is about as good in threes as he was last year. Like we haven't seen Antoine Love for a week and a half now. Like,
they're not making out of the second round. They play the Magic or the T-Wolves.
Oh,
like,
God bless.
No matter who drops,
It's the Nick Bowl. Yes, everything's a bowl.
But like, I mean, granted, like his offense is like if they can just figure out defense, they're automatically going to become a fucking like a top team when it comes down to 3v3. If Symptoms could keep playing, it's going to take a lot for Symptoms to keep playing as consistent as he is. But like the way he's playing right now, it kind of reminds me of Kai last year with offense, where he was like consistently one of the only guys that's putting up like 15 plus points per game. Like we would see him just have these crazy outbursts every single time that we're watching the Raptors and Symptoms. He has 15. He's got 17. He's then got 19. Then he's got 17. Then he's got 15. It's like he is cooking. But you know what? A lot of guards cook. The defense lets them down. They play close games. And they can never close it out. But I think the T-Wolves are the Magic up against one of these teams.
God bless
Good luck.
America. All right, well,
good luck.
God bless Canada.
Oh, Canada, a land I call my home.
I'm bad. All right, on to the next. Cavs Legion GC. They took down the Dribble Gods 3-1. Dirk, I have never seen 3 players who coming into the season were notoriously good shooters be this just god awful at shooting the basketball. I don't. Dirk, they are shooting 39% as a team. What is happening? What has happened to the game I love? Killy, this is the square button, Killy. It's right there. It's right there. What happened? What happened to Killy, Shifty, and DJ Tukul? Is the internet in the Cavs Legion lair? Like, are they playing on like Romanian internet or something? Like, what happened? It's so Killy won the finals MVP in 3v3. He's shooting like 40% from 3. I can't, it blows my mind. TV Shifty is shooting 30% from behind the arc, Dirk. What is happening? I don't like it. It makes me so angry.
I don't get it.
It makes me so mad.
It is so confusing. Which, like, I know shooting this year is definitely harder, I feel like, than recent years with the NBA 2K League build. But still, if you're that good of a fucking shooter last year and you come out this year and you're not doing that, I don't know what's going on.
28 of 61 from 3. DJ Tukul, one of the best shooting power forwards we've ever had, is 8 of 24. Like, it has to get better, right?
It should.
It has to. It can't get worse.
You would think over time it should.
The fact that they're still winning series and shooting this poorly is probably a good sign. But, like, man, get in the gym. Figure out your timings. It's crazy.
Get in those pregame shoot arounds or something.
You're starting to make me angry.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to beat teams, which is crazy because when teams are losing to them, it's got to be so demoralizing. Like, damn, man, like we just watched Killy shoot like 1 for 5 and we lost the game. Like we should easily come out on top with these. Um, I mean, lower bracket runs are made off by like you gaining a lot of momentum and just kind of flowing as a team. This play style of Cavs Legion GC right now, with them not being able to shoot the ball, relying so heavily on defense and taking twos, will not take you to the promised land of the
It
finals.
is teaching them good lessons, though. It's teaching them how to win without 3-point shooting, which not a lot of teams know how to do.
I mean, they're like one of
Positive
those teams
spin.
that when it's a close game, they're like, let's just take the easy two because we're gonna get a stop. Like
They're
that's like
JT's
it seems like
favorite
their
team.
mindset. Yeah, it seems like their mindset every single time. I think it will be interesting because going back, looking from group play and then even their first bracket play game that they played, whoever drops down here is gonna be the first time they've played an inside center. So I'm wondering how that might change the defensive flow with everybody out there. Would impact their shooting, like getting more open opportunities,
Mhm.
depending on how drop heavy the center is going to end up being out of the corner. But I mean, it's so hard to root against them because you know the names, but holy shit, like we're about to close out the tournament and it's still this bad. Like you didn't show
I'm
us
losing
anything
my
to turn
mind.
it around.
I'm
Like
literally losing my mind. It's so funny to watch because you can tell how angry they are too. And I know they're
yeah,
as mad about it as I am because they're very competitive guys in there, but they'll figure it out. And when they probably do, they'll be pretty nuts. Two teams left. Wizards District Gaming. They knocked out the GCL underdogs. Um, uh, I don't really know what to make of this Wiz team. They're just kind of not winning games. Like they almost don't do enough at the end of games. Like their defense is fine, but it lets them down a lot in really big spots. And then their offense is almost too benzo heavy. Like it's almost too much benzo, I think, for them to be like long-term effective. Like his usage rate is in the 60 percentile, like or 60%. He's up there. I don't know what to make of this Wiz team. What do you make of this Wiz team? I'm kind of split on them.
kind of like underwhelming.
They're
I
like
don't think that
fine.
we're getting. I think that we're. This is like something that I think as a collective, everybody in the league has to get out of the mindset of. This is just not the Wiz from season 3, season 4.
Yeah.
That that like aura that they had is no more, and it hasn't been that way. I mean, last year was like the biggest eye opener of like, damn, like this is not the same Wiz anymore because turning a new leaf, but in a really bad way. They went from being like one of the most feared teams and organizations to where now it's like, cool. I see Benzo, Awkward, and Dean. I'm like, damn, they are phenomenal. But that's not a team that I load up against in threes. I'm like, oh man, like this is gonna be so hard to be able to take these guys down.
Yeah.
It's just been underwhelming. I don't think that we're seeing the same level of intensity on the defensive end that we had maybe seen from them when threes first kicked off with Dave Fry, Awkward, and Dini. And I think a lot of that was the desperation because they really didn't have a point guard to play. So they knew that how much more emphasis they had to put on the defensive end. Seems like they've become so comfortable with Benzo scoring that it's honestly affected the defensive side of things. Of being like, oh man, like we got to go out there and get this many stops. We have to like take these gambles and go get these plucks. I think that honestly might be a case for it. But yeah, I just want more from like Awkward from the game changing standpoints because I feel like that's gone away over the past couple years with his individual gameplay. Nudini in threes has always just been kind of like he's just been there. You know, I don't think I've ever put him up in the conversation.
Yeah.
This is the best power forward that we've ever had in this mode. He just plays his role and does his thing. But at the end of the day, right, when you're looking at some of these other top power forwards, like hard for me to gauge this year
It's
because
tough.
the lockdowns are so involved with every detail about the play, and power forwards are usually stunned in the corner
Yeah.
for the most part. So it's really hard to kind of gauge like who we're putting like we talk so much about who's the best lockdown right now because they're popping, they're playing on ball defense, they're doing everything. And so we haven't even had the conversation like who's the best power forward in the entire 3v3 world right now. But that's kind of been the story of this team. Definitely, it's good for them though, right? You have somebody who can go out there offensively, go get it. They work out the defensive game plan and really start to pick that aspect up. I mean, the sky will end up being the limit for him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Wiz do for the rest of the season because I agree with you. I like what you said about the aura and how the aura is like really different.
Yeah,
Benzo's aura is Benzo's aura. That sounds so strange to say. He clashes a lot with the classic idea that we have of Wizards District Gaming, right? Like when we think Wiz, we think share the basketball, ball movement, gritty defense, all that stuff. And then you watch Benzo. I mean, we get lost just watching him play sometimes. I have to imagine that you can kind of like lose a little bit of focus. Not to say that Awkward and Deeney are like in awe of this kid or anything, but like he's very ball dominant. He's a very good scorer, and it's just a very different style of play than this franchise is used to. And I think that adjustment is coming out in their record right now. And you can see that they're just not quite on the same page yet. And I will also say this about Benzo. He's been very good offensively. His defense so far, not great. He's definitely, I think, missed a bunch of rotations that have hurt them in big spots. But that all comes with being young and trying to figure it out. I think this Wizards team will probably be around the middle of the league for most of the year in threes. And if the defense comes together, they could take a big shot at it. But I don't
Mhm.
know, Dirk. Something's a little off about this team to start the year. Just a little.
I think that's just always the tough part too. Like, not only are you an organization has a rich history, you also have the number one overall pick, so I think that also plays into it. But yeah, that got to get some sort of defensive identity. You get a defensive identity, you will be up there with some of the top guys in the league. But being pushed to game 5 by GCL underdogs, and how scrappy that was, with all due respect to GCL, the Wiz shouldn't be having honestly that close a series with a lot of the community teams.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our next one. Our last team, I should say, and then we'll get into our final 4 picks, our champion picks, and our MVP pick. Hornets Venom GT. They took down Bucks Gaming in one of the best series of the year. I don't know if they should have won that series. Johnny kind of let them off the hook, but they kept fighting, they kept pushing, they kept scrapping and clawing, and they made it to the next round. They will face the loser of Nets GC and Grizz. Um, I I don't know, Derek. I don't know if this team is good. I don't know if this team is bad. I don't know if they're mid. They are a mystery to me. And I feel like they're a mystery to themselves too. Uh for them to be so good and to just get like bibbity bop like that back to back series, first on stage at home against Magic Gaming, and then to lose to a community team and then come right back and beat Bucks Gaming. I got nothing for you, buddy. I got no analysis here that's gonna make any sense outside of I don't know what to make of this team.
It's so weird because like it just seems it's just like it's threes. Like that happens so often where a team just looks so good and then all of a sudden it could just immediately drop off. And
Yeah.
to like I can't even give like the big time analysis on it just because we watched the Hornets like here and there, but we never really gone through an entire series and like
Yeah.
really dove into it. Like the one thing we do know, like how good Trey Dollars has been, like the way that he's moving. But I mean, yeah, as a collective, like overall, it's just crazy how one loss can really change your trajectory.
Yeah,
They were on
seriously.
top of the world, then they play Magic Game and they get swept at home. And now look at that. Game 5 lost to Rim Runners. Thankfully, they ended up beating the Bucks, who are phenomenal 3v3 team 2. A lot of questions like if Dimes was there, maybe would that still be the same result? Would things have ended up being different? Would the Bucks even be in this part of the bracket? They're always a wild card team every single year
Oh yeah.
because they'll either start off like they'll start playing good, then they start jumping into the Twitch chat and they'll be like, "Oh man, like everyone's always down us. Like, where the fuck is our credit? Like, where's this? Where's that?" Then they always like they'll have a fall off coming out from somewhere.
That's the
And
hard
so
part. It's hard to know like when is the right time to buy the Hornets stock because it feels like whenever you buy them, they're at the top and they crash.
they never have consistency.
Yeah.
They never like there's never been a time where like throughout the entirety of the season they have remained like right there with being the top team. So win a couple, you're like, okay, maybe top 5 team, then they'll lose. You're like, okay, well, now you're fucking having demon games against teams that shouldn't even be in a competition with you.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know where to put them. I think either matchup that comes down here is scary. I mean, especially if somehow it's the Nets. I mean, even more so too if it's the Grizz, but a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, being in the locker room, how much pressure just for everybody, right? Because like for looking at Trey Dollars, they historically haven't had the best run with guards in 3 versus 3. So Trey comes in, Trey's been performing well. You get Fluke Lock, you get Big Saint, things are looking good, and all of a sudden it just starts declining. And I mean, I don't see a change coming at any point. This is
Yeah.
definitely the lineup. I think maybe two. I don't remember what Trey started off. I don't know if he's been on the inside out playmaker the whole time, but I know he switched over to that archetype.
Yes, he did.
So I think that archetype Harris is starting to become like my red warning, like put in a little
The
exclamation
warning
point next
label.
to it. I think it's one that it's one that people should start to avoid. I think it just creates a lot of bad habits.
Okay.
So me personally, one, I'm hoping Justin gets off it. I'm hoping that also Trey Dollars ends up jumping off it and just goes to more of a traditional 3v3 guard build.
Okay. All right. Let's get on to our final four, our champion, and then we'll get into an MVP and we'll get out of here. What's your final four?
Okay, so I got to look at this. So from the top side, when we get to there's the semifinals. Okay, so what? It's semifinals and then
pick one team from 25 to 28. You see the little numbers?
Yeah.
And then pick one team from 29 to 32. And those are two of them. And then one from pick two teams from 25. Actually, this is complicated. Pick our finals. Who do you think is going to be in the finals?
Give me shit. Give me Lakers Gaming.
Okay.
And then I'll have Lakers Gaming coming through the upper bracket.
Okay.
In the lower bracket, I will take Pistons GT.
Ooh, going with the Pistons. Okay. I'm going to agree with you on the Lakers. However, I'm going to go chalk. I think we're going to get Nets-Lakers final. I think they're the best two teams right now. Green still isn't hitting threes at a good enough rate for me to be confident. That means they have room to get better. And if this team has room to get better, this just means that they're going to lose round one to the Grizz 3-0 because I love cursing teams, man. I've been all over the cursing teams this year. Give me your champion. Who you got?
Lakers.
Well, Lakers. All right, I'll go opposite of you just for fun. I'll go Nets. And I'm guessing your MVP is Kai?
Yep.
Yeah, mine will be Greens. All right.
Nacho
for MVP. All right, so that'll be it. The Slam Open Week of Doom will be live on the NBA 2K League Twitch page Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. Saturday at 3 o'clock we start. That's going to be a wacky one.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Saturday at 3 o'clock. The finals will be at 5.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck yeah.
Saturday night. Yeah.
I thought we were going to be fucking going to the trenches of a Saturday night.
Nope.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, on that happy note, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. This has been Virtual Courtside with Dirk and Harris. Follow him on Twitter at DirkJDR. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsDean and go give Dirk soccer content some love so our man can get some more additional income.
Playoffs this weekend.
Playoffs this weekend.
First round.
Sunday?
Yep.
Okay. Very nice. Well, good luck, sir.
We play Barcelona.
And hopefully, and also Arsenal play Porto tomorrow. So hopefully we have a good soccer week as well.
I hope to God we beat the living shit out of Porto.
If we don't beat Porto, I'm gonna be a very sad man.
I will look at.
Be really upset.
I will sit there and I'll look at our trophy run for the fucking Premier League and I'm like, we are not winning. No. We are gonna choke it like we did last year.
Gotta get it done. All right, we'll see you guys on Wednesday.